some very special individuals who are mishtatif tonight to make this evening possible. They asked to remain anonymous, but those who know them really have tremendous hakaras hatov for them. In NCSY, there's a famous story that is told at Shabbatons. The story of a boy who was not that religious, who spent the summer with his grandfather who was a Frumma Yid. The Zayda took his grandson to shul with him during the week, and on Shabbos he sang Zmiris, and in general provided his grandson with a beautiful summer. As his father came to pick him up when the summer ended, the grandson stopped at the mezuzah, put his hand over it, kissed it, and said, "Goodbye, God." They would end Shabbatons with this story and say this Shabbaton should not be goodbye, God. Rabbi says, as we finish the Shloshim, this should not be goodbye, Judy. We need to be there for her and for the children. And I hope I speak on behalf of everyone here, letting you know, Judy, that we will be there for you. Please call any one of us at any time for anything. For some final words, Judy.
Thank you, Moish. I'll take you up on that. Before I begin, I'd like to thank everyone who spoke here tonight. We were hanging on to your every word. It's not easy to put Beezy into words, but you all did an incredible job, and you brought immense cover to Beezy tonight. Even he would be lost for words to describe this most beautiful evening. But he would sum it up as saying, it was der Heuben. And it was a der Heubener evening for a der Heubener Yid. My family and I count ourselves really lucky and blessed that we have so many friends who appreciated him like we did and understood the immense depth, breadth, and scope that he possessed, as well as his genius and talent. He was our rock star. The shock and pain in the community has been so palpable, so raw, and also most comforting to us because we feel that you were truly with us in our pain. In fact, the overflow and outpouring of deep, deep sadness and heavy emotions that we witnessed over the past month are usually reserved for close family members only. Beezy used to say that it's easier to gauge the audience when you were telling jokes. If you were funny, they laughed immediately. But it was much harder to know how you're doing when you were coming across how you're coming across in a serious speech. And I think after everything we heard tonight, Beezy, there's no guessing here. Everyone just loved you. Some memorable quotes from the Shiva were, he was one man in a generation. There's simply no one like him. He was the Reb Chaim of the Balabatim. And I wish I could have spent more time with him. One lady mentioned that her mother had heard Beezy on one of the Tisha B'Av videos and called her daughter to say that this man sounds quite similar to a man in the Purim Spiels. Did they both go to the same schools? There was absolutely no idea in her mind that this could be the same person, and this was Beezy. I felt a huge pull to speak here tonight, not about Beezy the speaker, the joker, the Rebbe, the Menagein, the advisor, or the lawyer. I'm here to speak about the great man who is everybody's hero, but most importantly, Beezy the father and Beezy my husband. We met when he was 28 years old. He had a little black book with all the names of his past dates. I was it was the long enough list that got his parents really frustrated. And his father told him quite bluntly to give a kick in the spiegel, take a good look in the mirror. Dating transatlantic was really challenging. One Friday, whilst dating, Beezy called and he asked what I was doing. I mentioned I was eating Kegel. He went silent. And in a stunned response, he asked me, "What did you say you're eating?" Kegel, you know that potato dish we eat on Shabbos? Well, that was it. Because apparently, and maybe to some strangely, the word Kegel represented a whole lot of what he was looking for in a wife. In his words, Heimish yet stylish, and he was ready. But not so fast. I wasn't convinced yet. I complained that I wasn't seeing stars. And so one night he drove me past some club in Manhattan which had a huge name lit up on the marquee. It was called STARS. What do you see? He pointed and asked. And the rest is history. He insisted on taking 3 months off work after we got married. He wanted us to start off on the right footing. And he was worried I might run back to London, especially with his hours at work. I was very homesick, but he had infinite patience, and I mean infinite patience, and spent many, many billable hours on the phone with me, helping me get through this. In 33 years, I can say he never criticized me or told me that he didn't like what I was doing. He used to joke and call me his perfect human specimen. Once COVID hit, and he didn't have to be in the office, he joined Libby and I to get me to California every month. It was tiring, but he was constantly saying, "Judy, home is wherever you are." We loved to discuss our kids. He had such pride in Danny, who had such tremendous kibbud aim and was such a mevakesh. We only realized much later on what an honor it was that Danny was chosen to speak at the Darchei Chanukah Mesiba. He never ever mentioned it. You gave us so much nachas, and we loved to hear all about your great Shem Tov. And Daddy felt it was a real zechus being your father. He was so proud of Shira and their shared intellectual curiosity. He basked in her adoration and would always try and have alone time with her, which made her feel so special, which she was. Shira always helped him out with all his emergency technological difficulties as only a teenager can. She constantly giggled when she would hear all his melodies from the Haim, especially on Hanukkah, and Daddy would milk that for all it's worth. I'm sure you've all seen some of those videos. Performances like that can only be done by someone who is obviously very comfortable in his own skin. He loved Yaakov from the get-go. I think you reminded him of his younger self. And he was so excited for the two of you and for you to join the family. The first few months after Libby had her stroke, he would get up every morning for months to help put on her foot brace. And every single day, he would enter her room in a different outfit or accent. And instead of the expected frustration and tears, I would only hear endless laughter. At a time when most people would fall and fail, Beezy rebuilt Libby with his laughter, purposeful joy, and great inner strength. He continued to dance around the house when I'm sure he didn't feel like it. We loved his Heimishkeit, which was his essence and his core, and he loved to sprinkle the conversation with his Yinglish and nonchalantly say shocking things to us like, "Throw your mother down the stairs, a sveta," or "Put your mother in the oven, a cake." He made up silly songs and just infused the house with laughter and zest for life whilst making calls around the country, seeing if there were any new therapies for Libby. Some Shabbosim he turned into Captain Colorwar. Camp was always so close to his heart and never too far from his mind. He taught us to never second-guess ourselves and play the if-only game. One of his favorite sayings was, "If my Baba had payers, should be my Zayda." And look who Libby is today. How proud Daddy was of the way you handled yourself. And he was especially beaming when you gave your incredible speeches that were full of inspiration and reflected your deep emunah and simchas hachayim. Libby, you will always be your father's daughter. Never forget it. We felt his warmth. We felt embraced by him, and he made us feel safe. He lifted us up. His Torah insights and the way he led his life always made us look up. Simcha was in his DNA and makeup, but most of all, he never gave up. Not on himself, not on you, and not on his family. At the Shiva, people ask me the secret to a good marriage. Perhaps it's as simple as number 20 on the Weiss Wisdoms. A perfect marriage is just two imperfect people who refuse to give up on each other. 33 years later, I can honestly say that with you, Busy, I saw many, many stars. In fact, at times I felt as if we were flying on a shooting star. Life was oh so bright. You were my northern light, and now I've lost the center of my universe. We live in a new stillness. The two of us were a great team. I could already finish your sentences, know which joke you were about to say, and anticipate which direction your thoughts were going. I will have to draw from this pool of love and strength and hope that it will carry me through. We will have to find a normal where nothing feels normal. We will never forget you. We won't stop talking about you to your grandchildren. Your name was always written in bold and capitalized, and that is you. That is who you were. I'd like to end with this. Many years ago, Busy came home from work and mentioned that he had attended a colleague's funeral. At the eulogy, his colleague's life was summed up as, well, Harry, he sure knew how to play the trumpet. I believe that was the changing point in his life. He never, ever forgot that Muster Haskell. And we all know that his work did not define him. And the day he began giving the Daf Yomi Shir is the day that he really became fulfilled. There's a really well-known pasuk in Koheles that says, Tov lelechas lebeis avel, milechas beis mishta. It's better to go to a house of mourning than a house of simcha. This pasuk cries out for an explanation. At first glance, it makes no sense. But the simple pshat is that when you go to a simcha, it's all about the future, the hope, and the wishful thinking. At the base avel, there is no more talk about potential or hope. It's all about what was and what the person accomplished. What's interesting and unusual about our Shiva is that it seemed to encompass both, because when we think of you, BZ, we can only see hope, inspiration, and life itself. How proud we are of who you were, what you accomplished in life, with your Torah learning, your devotion to helping others, your God-given talents to liven up any space. Only you have the ability to turn an ordinary moment into something extraordinary. Anyone who needs the direction in life will try and emulate you and your ways, Busy. Yaakov ben Sion, ben Mordechai Weiss, because Busy, he knew how to live life. Thank you.